we've started recording. Oh god. Are you ready, kids? Oh man, even the mic can detect like like the fans and stuff. Like just my computer working so hard right now. Oh wait, can you hear it too? Oh no, you're talking about the mic thing, probably. Yeah, I know, but they can detect it. Like, okay. Let me just show you a picture. I'm not gonna talk right now. But that is just that detecting. Oh yeah, I got great sound quality. No, I'm talking about right now. No, right now. My laptop is working super hard on making a video and uploading a video on YouTube right now. And it that's just the mic detecting, like, I guess like the fans probably. Oh yeah, poor computer. I know. But it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Um, I would check right now, but I'm live streaming. Actually, I could check my phone. Um, I can check. Hopefully, it's not that big of a problem. If not, I can just turn down the sensitivity. So it's just okay. Yeah, it's just gonna hold on just a second. There we go. So it can actually hear me good. Um, let's see. YouTube. But I don't want to install it. I just want to see, like, I just want to see. Yeah, I don't want to install YouTube Studio too. It's okay. Well, right where I left it, it was like 34% uploaded, and that's without, and that's before it gets processed. So, I don't know, man. This YouTube thing, hard. Very hard. Alright. Anyway, we need to get to the good stuff. But before I do that, I need to do something real quick. Yeah. Alright. Just want to see my encoding. Oh, it's 10% now. Nice. I'm glad to see that. Yeah. Okay. Where are my glasses? God damn it. I love water. I love water so much. Alrighty. So. Sorry, I had a brain fart again. Oh, are you playing LOL here? Wait. Oh, you're still playing? Oh, I see. That's quite the development then. Man, before she blows up America. Oh my god. Just for context, you guys, my boyfriend is playing Death Stranding, and then he's telling me about the story development. And I'm like, wow. What a game. What a weird game. Okay. Anyway, back to the actual regularly scheduled programming. Yes, it seems pretty nuts. Oh, 13. Okay. Alright. Sorry, I'm just reading ahead. Alright. Wait, is there only 2 parts to this? Sorry, I'm getting distracted because my mom's talking with my brother outside in the hallway. I'm just like, I hope she doesn't come in my room again. No, but it wouldn't be too bad. Anyways, so chapter 28, nothingness. Hello? May was crouched at the bottom of a dark pit, her arms wrapped around herself, shivering. Is anyone there? May? Pumpkin's voice echoed back to her. Pumpkin! I thought they'd taken you. Where are you? I don't know. I'm in some kind of pit. Me too. Another voice rose out in the darkness. Hey, are you two all right? Beatrice! Beatrice! Fabio called. You okay? I think so. I'm okay, May called. Everyone voiced an agreement, but May knew none of them were okay. John the Gibber was gone, and there was no one who knew how to help them. They were caught. May rubbed at her elbows and knees where she'd been scraped a few moments before, when she dropped into the pit. Then she began feeling along the walls, and then, with a gasp, she felt her shoulders. Her knapsack was gone. It must have torn off in the struggle. Suddenly, a black glow. Hold on. Forgot to adjust my light before reading. Suddenly, a blue glow illuminated the area, and May looked toward a giant television screen mounted in the wall. You all have this HV? Fabio called. Again, everyone voiced agreement. The blue screen dissolved into the screen of a specter, the same one who had been in the movie at the Spectroplex, with a knife in his chest. He smiled at the camera, seeming to smile directly at May. Hello, and welcome to the most uppermost dungeons of the Eternal Edifice. On behalf of the Great Beau Cleeville, we would like to extend our regrets that your stay is under such unfortunate circumstances. What circumstances? What's going to happen to us? May asked, as if the man could hear her, but he went on. Because you are being detained for questioning, you may at this time enjoy a few extra minutes or hours of the afterlife before you are destroyed completely. You're going to become a ghost. Well, I think in this world, even if she is alive, I think the bogey has power to turn her into nothingness without her, becoming before. So it's possible that she can die. She can turn into nothingness without dying. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Like, they're not gonna kill her right now and then, turn her into nothingness. I don't think that's how it works. So die, but like super hard. Yes. Super hard. Dead. D-E-D. Dead. Alright. To prepare for your execution, you may like to empty your pockets of all valuables at this time. You may also wish to say a silent goodbye to all of those that you have ever loved. Remember to remain in your pit patiently until the ghouls come to get you. Though, of course, the man chuckled. You have little choice. He turned serious again, his big dark eyes focused on the camera. Remember, execution is quite literally nothing to be scared of. Once you have vanished from existence completely, you won't know the difference. He gave a chilling smile. Have a pleasant stay. Suddenly, the HV blinked off, and the pit was enveloped in pitch blackness once again. Oh, Pumpkin moaned. We've got to get out of here, Beatrice moaned. Don't worry, Beatrice. I will find a way. The grunts of Captain Fabio, leaping and jumping and trying to climb, carried into May's pit. And May had got, but, yeah. The grunts of Captain Fabio, leaping and jumping and trying to climb, carried into May's pit, but May had gone numb. She crouched down against the wall and hugged herself tight, staring toward the darkness of the ceiling. At any moment, the boulder covering the pit would be pushed aside and she would be dragged out. She would never see her cat, or her mom, or her woods, or anyone again. Pumpkin! Pumpkin? She finally called. I'm so sorry. You'd be back in Belmorte if it weren't for me. There was a long silence, and then, I really didn't have anything else to do. Oh, let me say that again. I really didn't have anything else to do. Hush, you two, Beatrice called. You sound like you're giving up. We just have to think. May was thinking a lot. She was thinking how she once... May was thinking a lot. She was thinking of how she had thought once that if she could go somewhere else, she could be someone else. If she had come here, clear across the universe, and her life had not amounted to much of anything. Oh wait, no, let me read that again. I read that really weird. May was thinking a lot. She was thinking of how she had thought once that if she could go somewhere else, she could be someone else. But she had come here, clear across the universe, and her life had not amounted to much of anything. She was thinking of how much she had let everyone down. They waited in long silence for a bit. Yeah, they waited in silence for a long time, but for all their thinking, nobody came up with a way out of the pits. Occasionally, May heard the muffled sound of gulls jabbering above, and then the scrape of a boulder being moved from its place. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. Omega dead. Yes, Omega. I was almost gonna say Omega dead. Omega dead. How much encoding? Oh, 24. Okay, not that bad. Could be more, but whatever. Um. Yes, dead as heck. Sorry, I just got really tired all of a sudden. Okay, where was I? They waited in silence for a long time, but for all their thinking, nobody came up with a way out of the pits. Occasionally, May heard the muffled sound of gulls jabbering above, and then the scrape of a boulder being moved from its place, and terrible screams as a spirit was dragged out of its pit and away. I just hope it's not the bogey who does it, Beatrice said. Heav- Beatrice said heavily, her earlier note of hopefulness gone. I couldn't take that. I'd rather be destroyed by the ghouls. Then came the sound of her softly crying, and the weight of May's guilt hung more heavily on her shoulders than ever. She reached out toward the dirt in front of her and began to trace the picture of Somber King to make up for all the ones she hadn't drawn of him at home. She sank back. She sank. What even was that? Jesus. Um. I did go a little southern there. I don't know why. It just happened. Alright. She sank back and placed her hands against her hips, missing him. Her fingers skimmed the tops of her shorts. See? She does have shorts on. It's not just a bathing suit. She has shorts too. And then, like a spark of lightning, she remembered the vial of seawater in her pocket. It must have been hours before a scraping sound came from above May, and the boulder covering her pit was moved, letting light spill in and emitting two gold faces who jabbered at May. May's heart threatened to pound its way out of her chest as she watched them throw down a ladder made of chains and climb toward her. They dragged her back out of the hole, where she quickly looked around the room. A great gray, a great gray cell filled with boulders to each filled with boulders to mark each pit. She was careful not to scream or call out which. Wait, let me read that again. They dragged her back out of the hole, where she quickly looked around the room. A great gray cell filled with boulders to mark each pit. She was careful not to scream or call out, though she wanted to. She knew Pumpkin was scared enough as it was. May, is that you? Beatrice called. Be brave, May called back. The gulls pulled her into a long hallway and up a set of stairs, through two gleaming steel doors into a huge room made completely of glass. The door slit shut behind her. The room was enormous and gave a complete view of the dusky sky, as well as the city beneath her feet. In the middle of the floor was a large circle, sliced into parts, and beyond that, a gold and purple chair that looked a lot like a throne. Through the window, May could see the buildings of Ether stretched out below, and then farther, the barren outskirts, a vast field of gravestones, and beyond that, the desert. A tiny stripe curved its way outward from the great cemetery, curling around the northern outskirts of the city, and then shooting farther north. May realized with an extra loud thud in her chest that must be the Northern Railroad, and then the height made her so wobbly she had to move away from the window. A sliding sound behind her made the hairs on her neck and arms stand up. Without turning around, she knew by the silence the bogey had entered the room. Slowly, her body feeling numb, she turned around. The bogey smiled his horrible smile at her and waved his fingers in a long, lazy movement. He sat in his throne and continued to smile. Behind him were two ghouls who, at his silent command, scurried forward and grabbed onto her arms, holding her tight. She squirmed as the bogey drifted up again and over her, stroking his hand along his long, stroking his hands along his pointy chin before running them gently through her hair, his empty white eyes shining. May stayed perfectly still. When the bogey finally spoke, his voice came out of a set of speakers at the top of the room. It was a hoarse whisper. You are very fortunate in opening the book. It is a great honor. My master long ago was able to open it too. Can you guess what it told him? May swallowed and shook her head just slightly. The book told him that a live one would come to destroy him. The bogey patted her head, but it didn't tell him who. May clenched her teeth and tried to stand completely still. So he set guards at each portal to protect our world from those like you. It seems you got through anyway. Now the bogey pulled his hands together and cracked his knuckles one by one. Behind him, May could see the southern part of the city. A tiny plume of smoke, she noticed absently, had risen up in the distance where the train tracks met the horizon. You have led us to the answer to your name in the book. Now you must tell me, how were you planning to do it? May tried to move her arms slightly, but they were pinned solidly by the two goals. She was still trying to take in what the bogey was saying. I wasn't planning anything. You have the wrong person. The bogey's hand shot out and grabbed her at the top of her bathing suit, his frigid knuckles grazing her collarbone. The book doesn't lie. Now tell me how. I don't know. May scrunched her shoulders up against the deadly fingers digging into her throat. The voice, still hoarse and whispery, came through the speaker so loud that the glass all around them began to vibrate. What kind of weapon is it you have that you think can destroy a power as great as Bo Cleaver? Let me say that again. I want it to sound threatening. I'm gonna stick my cat on you. um, the voice, though still hoarse and whispery, came through the speaker so loudly that the glass all around them began to vibrate. What kind of power do you let me I'm trying to say this evilly. Um, what kind of weapon is it you have that you think can destroy a power as great as Bo Cleaver? May shook her head. I don't have a weapon. The bogey's eyes glinted at her for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. It doesn't matter anymore. You will never get a chance to use it. Search her, he said to the ghouls, still talking through the speakers. Bring me anything you find, then dispose of her. He tilted his top hat at her, then turned and drifted toward the doors. With the push of a button, they slid open. But before he went out completely. The bogey pushed another button. He floated through the doorway a moment before the circle in the floor opened up, full of blackness and gaping at May. Wait. Sorry, I'm just rereading again. that again. He tilted his top hat at her and then turned and drifted toward the doors. With the push of a button, they slid open, but before he went out completely, the bogey pushed another button. He floated through the doorway. He floated through the doorway a moment before the circle and the floor opened up, full of blackness and gaping at May. She stared at it, petrified. She knew instantly that that blackness was what nothing looked like. She tried to scrabble backward, thrusting her hand toward her pocket. One ghoul said to the other, while the one took both of May's flailing arms tightly in his. Like Vanta Black. Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah, just imagine Vanta Black and you'll see darkness. I'm listening outside, and my brother just showed my parents the Joker movie, and now they're talking about it. I didn't watch it with them because I didn't want to. I wasn't really in the right mental space to be watching that movie. It's a good movie, but it's just not for me right now. But they're talking about it. I'm like, heh. I don't know. My brother likes talking about like movies and their messages and stuff, and I think that's pretty cool. All right. Anyway. um. While the one who, while the one took both of May's flailing arms tightly in his hands, the other stuck his slimy claws into her pockets, pulling out her quartz rock. He let out a squeal when he saw it, and the other ghoul swiped at it with one hand before holding May's wrists with the other, fighting for the rock. It went flying across the room. It went flying across the room. In a flash, the first ghoul had his claws back in her pockets again, digging for more treasures. Grunting, he jerked out the sea capsule and held it up tight. This time, the second ghoul let go of May completely. The creature tackled one another, their hands closing over the capsule. May held her breath. She took a step back. Smack! Or both ghouls looked straight at her the split second before they vanished completely. May stooped to grab her quartz rock before she sprinted out the doors and back to the room with the pit. And back to the room of the pits. Pumpkin! Bee! Fabio! May? She followed Pumpkin's voice to the nearest pit and lunged against the stone. I can't move it! May tackled the stone again, pushing with all her might. It gave a little bit, then a little bit more. There was room for May to throw until there was room for May to throw the chain ladder down into the open space. A moment later, a pair of long fingers appeared on the ledge of the pit, and Pumpkin squeezed his way out, shaking all the way. He and May peered around. Beatrice! Fabio! They followed their voices to two other pits and, with great effort, rolled the boulders out of the way. Once the group was all on ground level, they sprinted for the door opposite the one May had been dragged through before. They ran out into a long passageway. The Floaterator! Pumpkin pointed. They sprinted down the hall. Beatrice jams her finger into the down button. At that moment, damn, how are you so strong? Who knows, my dude? Who knows? Oh, that might be it. Yeah, I think that might be it. But I'm not sure. That's a good thing. I mean, she does have more body mass than, anyone in the Ever After. Because, she's alive. She has mass, period. um, they sprinted down the hall. Beatrice jammed her finger into the down button. At that moment, the light said it was at floor 3987. Ay, Dio mio, Fabio muttered, shifting his parachute on his back. Since the floaterator made slowly the floaterator made its way up. While they waited, the group looked frantically over their shoulders. Finally, there was a ding in front of them, and a chorus of chatter came from behind the floaterator doors. Run! Sorry, that was so awkward. Just like out of nowhere. Let me see that again. While they waited, the group looked frantically over their shoulders. Finally, there was a ding in front of them, and a chorus of chatter came from behind the floaterator doors. Run! With Beatrice, Pumpkin, and Fabio speeding along in front of her, May pounded away from the floaterator. The floaterator door had opened behind them, and a chorus of gold voices rang out. As the gulls gave chase, let me say it again. The floaterator door had opened behind them, and a chorus of gull voices rang out as the gulls gave chase. The group zipped through the dungeon area littered by boulders and turned right, stopping only when they zoomed straight into the glass room and realized they were trapped. Hold on, I need to readjust myself. Oh, it's 45% now. Hold on, just a little break. I want to see if my video is uploaded. I don't think so. No, not yet. No, I don't want to do that one. There we go. May dove for the button that would close the doors. Beatrice searched for a way to lock them and finally jammed her small white fist into every button there was until they heard a great magnetized sound. Sorry. Okay. Um, May dove for the button that would close the doors. Beatrice searched for a way to lock them and finally slammed her small white fist into every button there was until they heard a great magnetized sound. The door seemed to have locked. Outside, a heavy thud announced the arrival of the gulls and that they were trying to break the doors down. What do we do? Everybody looked at May. My guts! Pumpkin cried, darting behind May and holding her shoulders, gazing at the door. I don't know why he said that. I don't know why he said that. Yeah, no, that's what he said. What do we do? Everybody looked at May. My guts! Pumpkin cried, darting behind May and holding her shoulders, gazing at the doors. May stared out May stared out the window at that curious puff of smoke in the distance. Suddenly she realized what it was. There's the tree north. Yeah, maybe. Alright. There's the tree north, May said sadly at the same time. May thought it. Beatrice was breathing hard, sticking her finger against the glass and pointing beyond the northern gate of the city. That's the station I've read about, she said, glancing over her shoulder at the door. May could make out a little dot that marked the station. I wish we were on that train, Beatrice said, headed out of the city. I always wanted to see snow, Pumpkin warbled. The gulls outside the door slammed into them harder and harder. May watched the puff of smoke. If there was one fast way out of Ether, it was by train. Not that it mattered. Or did it? May racked her brain. She remembered trying herself. She remembered tying herself to those balloons last year and trying to fly off her mother's car. There was an idea buzzing just out of her reach, like one of Arista's bees. Would you really get on that train? Everyone looked at May. I would go with you, if we were going, Beatrice said gently. Why? Ah, ah, I go where Beatrice goes. Where Beatrice goes, said Fabio. It is a nice dream. I always wanted to see the snow, Pumpkin repeated. May stared at him for a long while, the buzzing in her head getting louder. The thuds on the door produced a great cracking sound, and gull-shaped indents appeared in the metal. A slit appeared between the doors, and then, in a flash, May had it. The idea sent a shock through her that was half hope, half fear. Fabio, she said, her voice rushing out in one long breath. Do you think your parachute can hold us? Fabio blinked at her for a second and then smiled with trembling lips. Yes, I am already thinking this, he recovered. It's a great idea I have, no? His Adam's apple bobbed up and down, and his smile dropped. He gazed through the glass at the distance to the ground below, then looked back at her, his brown eyes fearful. Do we have choice? May swallowed, remembering how it seemed like a million years ago. Her balloons had failed and she crashed to the ground, hurt and embarrassed. She looked behind her at the wall of glass and so far above the ground. This wouldn't be like a plunge from the top of her mom's car. If it didn't work. May gazed at the rest of the group. Her stomach flopped. We can choose to try. In one movement, they lifted the bogey's throne and slammed it through the glass, which shattered into 1,000 pieces and went flying toward the city below. May, Beatrice, Fabio, and Pumpkin stood on the ledge. Everyone hugged Fabio tightly. He leaped forward. Far below, Somber Kitty had managed to run the gulls around in circles for several minutes, dodging their spears and their swooping hands, unwilling to leave the stairs that were his only way of getting to May. His energy, though, was beginning to give out. His tongue hung out of his mouth in an unsightly, embarrassing way. His small ribcage heaved, and it was becoming increasingly difficult to dart up and down the stairs, ducking and diving out of harm's reach. Panting and bleary-eyed, Somber Kitty finally did the unthinkable. He slipped, rolled lopsidedly down the stairs, his chin thudding on each step. He had a horrifying moment to wonder which was worse, the pain and fear, or the humiliation. A slimy arm scooped him into the air, squeezing him against a slimy body with a tight grip. Somber Kitty was too tired to fight very well, and the creature hung on to him easily. And then something happened that was, if possible, even more disturbing. Glass fell out of the sky. All of the slimy creatures suddenly froze, mumbling to one another and looking up. Somber Kitty looked too. There, sailing across the air and headed farther and farther away from him, was a tiny speck. Somber Kitty's nose twitched and sniffed. His eyes narrowed and he let out a howl. Meow! With breathtaking strength, he twisted like a corkscrew, sliding right out of the slimy grip that held him. He landed on wobbly legs. Shaking his ears, he shot like an arrow toward the west gate of Ether, keeping his eye on the object in the sky above, and running with all his force for the desert. That is the end of chapter 28. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! What's gonna happen? Oh boy! 15 more pages! What's gonna happen? Alright. Chapter 29. You really want to know what happens to Somber Kitty. You are very invested in the Somber Kitty side story. Somber Kitty! Alright. Chapter 29. The Station. Pumpkin, May, Beatrice, and Fabio careened across the sand, kicking up dust in their wake, each of them falling off Captain Fabio like ticks falling off a dog after a flea bath. May landed with her mouth in the sand, which she spit and sputtered out as she sat up. Her bones ached. Are you all okay? Pumpkin was moaning. Beatrice and Fabio were slowly levitating back up to sitting. The parachute lay tattered and flat behind them. They were all several hundred yards from the walls of Ether. They all stood up, stared at one another groggily for a few moments, and then they started to smile. Whoop! Yahoo! We did it! Mamma mia! It is too good to be true. May thrust her hands in the air, jumping up and down and clenching her fists in triumph. We did it! She yelled. We did it! We did it! We did it! We did it! They all hollered and hooted and hugged one another. Then they had all then when they had all calmed down, they peered around them. What do we do now? Pumpkin asked. May spoke quickly with authority. The train station. Which way is it? Beatrice stretched a long pale arm ahead of her. The train was on its way. We better go fast. Unless we've missed it already. The travelers hurried across the desert as swiftly as they could in the direction of the station they had seen from the air. I rose up before them, small at first, but getting larger and larger. May had just made out the roof when a massive sound came from behind them. They all turned to look. As they watched, the huge gates of the city slowly swung open, and then what looked like hundreds of black dots swarmed out through the gates. Oh my gosh, May said. Beatrice threw her small hand over her heart. Shuck dogs. No one needed a second look. Oh, fug. I know, man. Oh, man, what's gonna happen? Oh, man. Oh, man. What's gonna happen? Okay, no one needed a second look. They started zooming now, and soon not only the roof, but the whole of the station of the train station was clear and vivid in front of them. They arrived at top speed, slamming to a halt right in front of the platform. Do you see the train? Do you see it? Beatrice asked, scanning the horizon. How close is it? May scanned the sand in both directions, hoping that if she saw the train, it would be heading toward them and not away. For a heart-stopping moment, there was nothing to be seen on the desert but the black shucks in the distance. Wait. Summer Kitty's gonna save the day for a hot minute. I don't know, man. Who knows? Maybe Somber Kitty is gonna meet his fate. And the end of this book one, who knows? Will he return as a cat ghost and help her in her adventures? Who knows? Ooh. Oh, fuck, you better not die. Oh, no, man. I wonder what's gonna happen. May scanned the sand in both directions, hoping that if she saw the train, it would be heading toward them and not away. For a heart-stopping moment, there was nothing to be seen on the desert but the black shucks in the distance. And also, strangely, a giant wooden mouse rolling along to the far left. May shook her head, befuddled, and then there it was, a tiny plume of smoke in the distance. Look! May pointed. That's it! Beatrice said. Is it getting closer or farther away? They all strained their eyes to see. Closer! Everyone cheered except Pumpkin. He stood with his fingers jammed in his mouth, frowning. Oh, it's good news, Pumpkin, May assured him. Pumpkin groaned again. It would be, he pointed to the growing black blobs in the distance. But I think the dogs are moving faster. If May had been paying attention while she was flying through the sky, she may have seen a tiny speck, smaller than any ghost. Hold on. If May had been paying attention while she was flying through the sky, she may have seen a tiny speck, smaller than any ghost, trekking across the ground below, moving more and more slowly, like a car running out of gas. She also would have seen that the giant mouse, with hundreds of feet poking out from the bottom, was closing the distance between itself and the speck. Summer Kitty had known he was being followed for several minutes. The fact that it was by a giant wooden mouse did not faze him. Summer Kitty. Oh, are the Egyptians gonna get him? Oh man, are they gonna sacrifice him and he's gonna become a ghost cat? Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe? Ooh, who knows, man? I don't know. The fact that it was by a giant wooden mouse did not faze him. There were all sorts of things in this world to confuse him, and he was too close to May to think of any of them anymore. He had seen her, with his keen eyes, land on the sand, and now she was running away. He had noticed, from the corner of his eye, the fast-moving train in the distance, and he had also seen the gates of the city open, and a cluster of strange black specks pour out onto the landscape, moving at lightning speed. Those didn't faze him either. Somebody set his course and tried to push his tired legs faster. And that is the end of chapter 29. Alright. We're down to the last 11 pages. Oh boy, what's gonna happen? Oh boy. Oh man, you're so invested. Oh boy. Alright. Chapter 30. Chapter 30 is a pretty short chapter too. Chapter 30. The Black Shucks. They could see the train clearly now, a long black snake hurling its way toward them. It seemed to go on endlessly. May, Pumpkin, Beatrice, and Captain Fabio watched it, willing it to go faster, looking back over their shoulders every few seconds, frantic. Both the black shucks and the giant mouse were getting closer and closer. The crack of a whip sent a sickening dread into May's heart. Behind the dogs, the shape of the bogey became clear, riding on his sled, his top hat secure despite the wind. Oh, please, 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 May thought. Please. The train's not going to make it in time, Beatrice said, saying what they all, in the past few seconds, had begun to realize. We can't unroute. Ugh. Why am I wanting to say outrun? Roan. I don't know why. Stupid dry throat. Alright. We can't outrun them. Why am I trying? I'm trying to say outroute them for whatever reason, and I don't know why. It's bugging me though. We can't outrun them. Right, May turned to them, pushing the fear way down into her gut and trying to pull out courage instead. We need to look for weapons. Anything you can find. We're going to have to fight them. Yeah. I don't know why my tongue is getting twisted. All of a sudden, I want ramen now. And not like ramen from like a restaurant, but like the cup of noodles ramen. I don't know why. I should probably get some for myself and just. That's an idea. But I want. Oh, pho sounds so good. We should go get pho, babe. Like, I don't know when. Alright. Anyway. May turned to them, pushing the fear down into her gut and trying to pull out courage instead. We need to look for weapons, anything you can find. We're going to have to fight them. They ran around the station looking for things they could break apart and use as clubs. Fabio pulled out his dagger. Beatrice held a length of pipe dug from the sand. Beatrice held a length of pipe dug from the sand. May reached into her pocket and clutched the quartz rock. They all looked at one another, and May could see in everyone's eyes that they all knew weapons wouldn't help them, and there was no place to go. I don't have a weapon, Pumpkin said. May's lip began to tremble. Pumpkin stared at her hopefully with his fingers tugging at his wrinkled lips, trusting and innocent and helpless. That's okay, she said, trying to sound brave. You just stay behind me. If something happens, something bad, I want you to close your eyes and wait till it's over. May felt like that was all she could offer him. Tears began to fall from Pumpkin's eyes, and that made them fall from May's too. She reached out and hugged him. Everybody hugged one another one last time. For a moment, May remembered her picture, the one of her in the woods, dressed as a warrior with Somber Kitty at her side. You are that girl, the Undertaker had said. May tried. Everyone get ready, she said, clacking her arm behind her shoulder. They readied their weapons and waited for the bogey and his dogs to arrive. Somber Kitty could smell tears on the air. He could see the shape of May clearly now, and the other she was with, though she hadn't yet seen him with her inferior human eyes. Though the smell of fear, of May's fear, was also in the air. And Somber Kitty, confused, looked in the direction that May and the others were looking. Toward the black shucks that were growing larger on the horizon. Suddenly, Somber Kitty's nose twitched madly. His skin began to tremble on his bones. The specks weren't specks anymore. They were dogs. Somber Kitty stopped in his tracks. A low growl began deep in his belly, and he stayed frozen, torn, distraught. With the very last of his strength, he ran. And that's the end of chapter 30. And we shall begin chapter 31. Chapter 31. A figure in the distance. They could hear the dog's breath now, could even smell it. They were almost upon them. Pumpkin, May, Beatrice, and Fabio looked at one another, then across the sand. The train was close now. They could see a skeleton wearing an engineer's cap at the front window, but it was too late. In another moment, the dogs were there, yelping and screeching, pouring around them. Beatrice and Pumpkin crouched and held up their hands to defend themselves. Fabio and May stood up before them bravely. Fabio waved his sword at the dogs uselessly. Not another step! One dog was lunging for his throat when a high, sharp whistle pierced the air, causing the dog to snap. Its causing the dog to snap its jaws shut, just inches from Fabio's face. All of the dogs sat, but only just. Their teeth dripped bloodthirsty drool. They whimpered at being so close to their prey and unable to attack. And then from behind them floated the bogeyman. He was smiling as he made his way through. He was smiling as he made his way around this dog and that one. His pointy teeth bared. His eyes crinkled up in what looked like a laugh. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh boy, I don't know. May winced. Behind her, she could hear the train squealing to a stop, and then the door sliding open. She wanted to tear her eyes away to look back at the train, gauging their chances for making it, but she couldn't get herself to move an inch. She rolled her eyes to the side. Don't even try, the bogeyman rasped, his voice, without the speakers, coming out low and whispery. He seemed to know what she was thinking. You take one step, and 100 shuck dogs will tear you apart. He floated up to May and ran his fingers along her chin. There'll be nothing to help you now, Maybird. He looked around at the others. Now is your time to die. The bogeyman held his fingers up to May's face and placed the suction cups on her cheeks. May felt her vision going black. Suddenly, there was a squeal on her left. A shape shot forward and tackled the bogey around its waist. Sorry. My voice is all dry and fucking there's like a little bit of phlegm that's like sort of tickling. I just know it's there and it's just oh. Suddenly, there was a squeal on her left. A shape shot forward and tackled the bogey around the waist. It took a moment for May to realize who it was. Pumpkin, no! The bogeyman, though thin and gaunt, did not even sway. He seemed amused as he plucked Pumpkin off him and tossed him onto the ground, stepping on him with one black-clad foot. I'll save you for Mama. She loves house ghosts. A whimper came from behind him, and then Mama padded up behind the bogey, a full 3 times bigger than the other dogs. Behind May, a voice called, All aboard! May jerked her head to see a skeleton conductor standing on the top step of the train door, seemingly oblivious to all that was going on. In another moment, he disappeared into the car, and with a sickening thud, the doors closed. The train chugged into life and began to pull away. May felt the last hope die within her. Beside her, Beatrice began to cry. The bogeyman once again stretched his fingers toward May. Her skin went tingly, and then it began to stretch. At that moment, Mama let out a huge snuff loud enough to make the bogeyman look down at her. Don't be jealous, Mama. You'll have your turn with the others. But Mama wasn't listening to him. She had begun to whimper, and then a strange thing began happening with the other dogs. They all lifted up their heads and sniffed the air, curiously at first. Then a few trails became nam. Then a few tails became ramna. Ra- what the heck am I trying to say? Oh my god! I almost said Namrod like 2 times already, but it's Ramrod. What the heck is going on with me? All right. Then a few tails became ramrod straight. A few ears pricked up, and every one of them began sniffing and huffing hard, standing up and looking all around them. God damn it, my fucking throat. Hold on. God damn, that was pretty gross and terrible. Oh god, sorry about that. Alright, anyways. Yeah. Then a few tails became, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Um, then a few tails became ramrod straight. A few ears pricked up, and every one of them began sniffing and huffing hard, standing up and looking all around them. The bogeyman let go of May for just a second. Run! It had been Captain Fabio that yelled it, and it was a hopeless cause. Because, but they all started running, not toward the train, but away from it, away from the bogeyman, taking the dogs by surprise just enough so that they got a minuscule head start as they rushed across the sand. It wasn't enough. They ran toward a slight rise in the sand, the dogs just on their heels. May waited for the first set of fangs to sink into her back. Oh wait, what? Let me just read it from where they said run. It had been Captain Fabio that yelled it, and it was a hopeless cause. But they all started running, not toward the train, but away from it, away from the bogeyman, taking the dogs by surprise just enough so that they got a minuscule head start as they rushed across the sand. It wasn't enough. They ran toward a slight rise in the sand, the dogs just on their heels. May waited for the first set of fangs to sink into her back. She crested the rise and then, at the sight of a figure before her, stumbled forward. May landed hard on the sand, dazed and blinking. She forgot about the dogs behind her. She forgot about the train. A tiny figure was running toward her in the sand, with high, pointed ears and a skinny tail. As it got close to her, it slowed down, as if unsure of itself, but then let out a plaintive, melancholy sound. Meow. May lost her breath. She blinked madly and tried to get her voice to come out. Kitty? A loud yelp sounded behind her, making May look over her shoulder. The dogs had all come to a dead stop. They were all staring at the figure in the sand. She looked back ahead. Kitty? She whispered again, her eyes filling with tears. At that moment, every dog let out a petrified howl, turned tail, and began to run. But May didn't see them. She climbed to her feet and ran the last few yards that separated her and her cat, falling onto the sand beside him and swooping him into her arms, then holding out to look at him, to make sure it was really him. Summer Kitty's legs dangled beneath him. Meow, meow, meow. May rained kisses all over Summer Kitty's head, squeezing him. Summer Kitty! That's why they're illegal. I mean, you're right, but also, someone else is afraid of cats too. All right. Clevo. Jesus. I'm sorry to the YouTube people that are going to be hearing this and hearing me cough like crazy. I am sorry. Okay. Where was I? May rained kisses all over Somber Kitty's head, squeezing him so hard that he finally let out a small mew to let her know he was getting smushed. By the time Beatrice, Fabio, and Pumpkin caught up, she and Kitty were rocking back and forth. The others watched in amazement, flabbergasted. May leaped to her feet, cradling Somber Kitty tightly in her arms. When she lowered him to look at him, the bogeyman was staring her in the face. May drew Somber Kitty back to her chest with a groan. "Leave him alone!" The bogey chuckled soft and low. Before May could move in either direction, he reached out and grabbed her by the shoulder. The suction cups at the edges of his fingers digging into her skin. "Please, just leave him alone," May whispered. She felt her skin, where his fingers touched, starting to tingle and pull. The bogey tilted his head sideways for a moment. He looked her up and down, squinting. "Him? Him? Him who?" he rasped. At that moment, God fucking damn it with my fucking throat. um, uh, at that moment, with a loud mew, "Are you goddamn serious?" I start talking, and I feel my throat just like clotting up. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Really? Sorry, guys. I was sick for like a week. Where I lost my voice, and now I just like barely got it back 2 days ago. But I still have like phlegm and like a dry throat, and then just it's kind of frustrating. Let's see. Oh, I'm at 87% for making my video. Okay. I am so sorry. Alright. At that moment, with a loud meow, Summer Kitty leaped out of May's arms onto the bogey's face, digging cat claws into his cheeks before leaping onto the ground. And then, with Somber Kitty leading the way, they ran. This time, they ran for the train. May's arms and legs pumped as she trailed the others and tried to drag Pumpkin along in step. The train was still picking up speed and had not yet curled the last of its empty train cars past the station. The bogeyman, screeching in pain, caught up quickly and zipped up behind them, slower without a sled, but still deadly fast. When May looked over her shoulder, the bogey was inches from Pumpkin, who was bringing up rear. His hands latched. God fucking damn it! My stupid fucking throat. God fucking damn it. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm gonna fucking choke out my throat right now. Like, I am so done with my fucking throat right now. Okay, and I'm at the last goddamn fucking page of the fucking book. Anyway, back to the fucking program. Sorry for getting frustrated. Drink water. I've been drinking water. It's not fucking doing anything. I'm out of ideas too. I think the only idea left is choke myself out. Or choke out my throat out. Choke my throat out. There we go. God, because goddamn, I'm getting so frustrated. Oh, I wish I could do that. But I can't. Okay, let's just hope I get to the last of this fucking book. Because I'm so fucking done right now. I'm so angry right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Where was I? Oh, okay. When May looked over her shoulders, the boogie was inches from Pumpkin. He was bringing up the rear. His hand latched onto Pumpkin's ragged shirt. At the same moment, May reached into her pocket and hurled her quartz rock at him with all her might. It hit the bogey between the eyes and sent him reeling backward, just enough to free Pumpkin. At that moment, May saw the great wooden mouse lying on its side on the rise, and in front of it, thousands of spirits, tan with white sheets draped around their waists and chests, pouring out of it and ran toward them. They let out a collective cry. Rah! May's group let out a cry, too. Ah! They sprinted along the train, nearing the open platform of the last car. Summer Kitty was the first to jump on, which he did with ease. He was followed by Fabio, who hoisted Beatrice into his arms, and with truly astonishing strength, and then brought himself onto the floor of the car. Wait, what? He was followed by Fabio, who hoisted Beatrice into his arms, and with truly astonishing strength, and then brought himself onto the floor of the car. Pumpkin went next, using his long legs to vault forward and grab the other's hands, which pulled him on. They all reached their hands out and waved May on. She leaped once and fell. They waggled their arms frantically. Hurry! May quickly got up and started running again, her legs carrying her faster than she ever could. May quickly got up and started running again, her legs carrying her faster than she ever knew they could, faster than dead fast. She threw herself forward, and this time several hands grabbed her and pulled her up. Behind her, the boogeyman had almost caught up, but so had the Egyptians. Desperately trying to reach Somber Kitty, they didn't stop for the bogey and trampled right over him, their cries drowning out his screams of terror as he was flattened beneath their feet. But it was too late for them to catch their sacred cat. A few of the faster spirits kept up with the train for a few seconds, only a few feet behind the car, and then even they collapsed, holding their bellies and panting. Somber Kitty gazed at them from his safe spot on the train, flapping his tail tauntingly in a victory flag, like a victory flag. Uh, then he retreated into the circle of May's arms. Beatrice, Fabio, Pumpkin, and May were all piled together. Ghostly and living limbs overlapped one another. Beatrice reached out and grabbed May's hand. May, that's a cat. My cat, May said, beaming. Beatrice beamed back. They were outlawed, you know. Shook dogs are deathly afraid of cats. May couldn't help but shake her head. The crowd in the sand and indeed the city of Ether became smaller and smaller in the distance. And that's the end of chapter 31. And now we have one more chapter, and it's only 2 pages. Chapter 32. The train headed north. That night, May scratched under Somber Kitty's chin, his favorite spot, and watched the stars zoom above as the long black train sped its way across the desert. Already, May could feel just the slightest coolness in the air, as if the north had breathed a colder breath onto the sand. The landscape had begun to change. The elevation had gotten higher, and a few tiny, skinny trees had popped up here and there. May had never been so glad to see a few scrawny bushes. They reminded her of home. May hugged Kitty closer to her heart, feeling his warmth. The others had gone to sleep hours ago, and behind her, Captain Fabio let out a loud snore. Beatrice had snuggled into the crook of his arm. Even Somber Kitty purred dreamily. "Hi," Pumpkin said, sprawling up beside her and sitting cross-legged. "Hi," May said, feeling a lump rise in her throat at the thought of Pumpkin's bravery. He had risked her life to save her, and he was here now, on this train. So I wonder what it's up like. So I wonder what it's like up there. Let me say that again, because I fucked that up like twice. Somber Kitty saving the day. Hell yeah, saving the day, Somber Kitty. Saving the day. So I wonder what it's like up there, Pumpkin said, nibbling lightly on a finger. They both knew the north was unknown and dangerous. They didn't have to say it. I wonder what she wants from you. Pumpkin pulled his knees in tight. May shrugged. She had told Bee and Fabio about the Lady of North Farm. It had just seemed right. She wondered, too. Do you think she'll be angry with you? I don't know. I don't know anything about her, really. But I guess it doesn't matter. I don't seem to have a choice. She breathed in the night air. The Undertaker said I wouldn't. Pumpkin surveyed May with his droopy eyes. You look worried. May smiled, brushing a small tear from her eye. Nah, not about that. I was thinking of my mom. She doesn't have me or Kitty now. Pumpkin thought for a few moments. You'll find your way back. We'll make sure. Actually, May had been thinking of something her mom had said about how you didn't make friends, but let them happen. May wanted to repeat this to Pumpkin. It would happen to her, most of all, but she was too shy. Instead, she said, I know we will. Pumpkin smiled. They looked back at Beatrice and Fabio. May stroked Somber Kitty, who didn't look somber at all at the moment. He is pure goodness, you know? They didn't say any more, and for hours they were content to watch the ever after go by in the dark. And that's the end of this book. What's gonna happen now? Ooh boy. What kind of adventures are they gonna lead? Fuck, dude. So, Somber Kitty didn't die. No one died. Such a cliffhanger, I know. Right? Alright. I'm gonna stop recording.